Hey everyone, this is Nate and this is the Nader Tater channel. Alright, this is a new camera setup from Eufy, and this has 4K resolution and a new home base. If you're familiar with their other products, a lot of the things are similar here but much improved. So let me go through, I'll open it up, show what's included in it, show what the key features are. There are some pretty significant differences here that this basically it's their Eufy Cam3 version. The code or the model name is S330. And let's open it up and see what it has inside. Alright, so in the box there's really three key pieces to it, and in this kit it has a new home base. This has some new features over the old home base that I already have actually in my house. I'll talk about that in a second. And then this kit comes with two identical cameras, but there's a couple things. One is the 4K. Some of their older our existing ones out there are 2K, and I actually have some of those. I really do enjoy them. But these step it up a notch, so they have double the resolution. And then they have this black part is actually a solar panel on there so they can stay charged. These have a hefty battery inside of them, so they have months of use even without any sun. But obviously the best case is you have these in sunlight where they get at least a couple hours per day, and then you will never have to recharge their batteries now. So my existing Eufy solar cam I have out there is it's a S40 cam. I have not had to charge it up because I have it placed in a place where it gets sunlight all the time, so it just stays indefinitely in there. So these are truly a wire-free setup. There's no power wire, no communication wire, no Ethernet. It's Wi-Fi based. So let's see what else is in here as well. All right, so you have your power adapter for your home base. You have two sets of hardware for securing the bases that are can go into obviously a wall or to a soffit, and they have little drywall anchors too if you needed that. But these little kits come apart and you can screw them in with two screws, and then when you tighten it down it locks it into position there. So fairly simple and easy to use. And then you have Ethernet cable. This would be for connecting your home base to like your router, your home router. And then lastly they have a USB-A to USB-C port there, and that's for charging up these devices if you need to charge them up instead of solar. And then lastly they give you this little pamphlet here which has some documentation, some stickers. Whoa. Alright, so it has like a 24/7 monitoring sticker in there that's kind of nice to put up on doors or windows or something. And then they come with little templates for positioning for your mounts there, so if you needed to be really precise with where they're going, this actually is something you can go and test and make sure that it fits. And then they have a small pamphlet here. For a full guide you do have to go online, but this has a quick start guide. The app also provides step-by-step instructions, so we'll go through that. Now the other thing I'll say that I did add here is an external hard drive. So this home base has 16 gigabytes of data storage there. That should be good for probably 2 or 3 months of storage for doing the motion-based video recording. That's with regular usage there. I think that's 500 seconds a day or something of recordings that go into it with the two cameras. But this is expandable. Inside here there actually is the ability to install up to a 16 terabyte 2.5-inch hard drive. This one's a 1 terabyte. This should still give me even like years of data of storing them at just the standard recording. If I want to do continuous recording, that's where you really do probably need an added hard drive instead of just the internal. So they do have the option here of 24/7 straight recording all the time. And that's one of the things I really like about this Eufy stuff is they are very flexible with allowing you to do local storage, but you also have the option to do cloud storage. Cloud is obviously paid. You have to pay for a subscription there. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to, and you don't lose any features. I've had some other camera brands, I've tested many of them, and this is one of the few ones that really feels like it is 100% up to you. There's no trade-offs. You decide if you want local or cloud, or you can have both actually at the same time. So let's get into, I'm going to put this hard drive in real fast, and then we'll go through the setup process, and we will show you how it works out, as well as some other features that are important to note. Alright, so this top grill is actually a fake grill, but on the back side of it here, it actually is tilted, so you can just press down on it, and it's a magnetic top, so then it just comes off, and the magnet comes off, and then there's a single screw, and then a little tray that you pull out here. So we take the screw out, and then we will go ahead and pull this out. Alright, there we go. So this is the little tray. So let me get the hard drive put in there. Alright, so for this little hard drive, you do have to check which direction it goes, but basically the label is facing out on this little tray. And they do give you this little bag with screws in it. So these are the screws that go in the side to hold the hard drive to the side of this tray. So you do want to put those in just to keep it from flopping around. So they just go in from the side here, and that keeps it secure, so it's safe. Alright, so now that that is secured to the tray, now it's ready to just slide back in. And then I return this top screw to there just to keep that tray from sliding out and disconnecting. And so this can be a hard drive, the standard disk drive, or it can be a solid state drive. So long as it's this 2.5-inch form factor, and it has the SATA or the SATA format there for the connectors, then it will fit in there and work. So now it's telling me to go ahead and power on this guy and plug it into my home router. So let me go over there and plug this in, and then we'll come back here for the next steps. Alright, so I opened up the Eufy app after I downloaded it. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to add a device. And so first I'm going to do this home base here. So you can see this is called the S380 home base. You can see they have their older home bases, the regular one and the home base 2. I have the home base 2 already, but I'm going to go in here, I'm going to add it to the Nader Tater home. It's going to say make sure it's plugged in. Now it says Ethernet, but I'm going to see if real fast if I can use it over Wi-Fi, and we'll see what happens here. Alright, I was hoping I could cheat and use just the Wi-Fi, not plug it in, but it looks like I need to plug in Ethernet for it to actually get the setup done. So let me go over and plug it in. Alright, so I had to do a couple things back there where I had to scan the QR code, and then I had to press the little sync button on the back of it. But now it has connected that serial number to my Eufy account, and I can now name it. Alright, so that was added now. So this is where it tells you, it has some really cool things here with the face management. And it's not just a face recognition, it also does like pets and cars and other stuff, and it also does self-learning. So this is something that is all built in locally, which is really cool. It doesn't rely on the cloud to pick it up, so that gives you faster connection there with when it detects it and when it actually alerts you. And then you can have it do certain things based off it's a face that it recognizes or if it's a stranger. So in here is obviously I want to add like a familiar face where I can just take a picture from me, and we will have it learn me as a familiar face, and then I can add others as well. Alright, so it looks like mine is already the latest firmware. That's always a good thing to check and make sure. But now I need to add more devices. Now this home base can handle up to 16 cameras all at once, and it can help manage. And one of the coolest things about this home base is that it is now finally designed to handle all of their cameras. So that means their existing home base has some limitations. I have some of their like outdoor Cam3 Pros, which has like pan and tilt, all this capability, but some of their cameras aren't able to link to the home base 2 or the original home base. And so by having the ability to have them all connect to the home base, not only does this artificial intelligence stuff go across cameras, but also the storage goes across camera, as well as any kind of other system or ecosystem level settings that you have out there. So let me go ahead and add these other new cameras here, and then we will see how the system actually works. So we're going to add the S330. They need to be within 1 meter. A little bit more than that. Let's see what happens.
Press the sync button until you hear the beep.
Alright, so it wasn't lying. You do have to be close. What's unique, it doesn't say anything about it, but what it is doing is that home base is actually emitting a high pitched noise. I can hear it. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe older people could not hear it. It's at that top of that hearing range. But these cameras look like they listen for that device, and that's some kind of Morse code or whatnot that gets sent to them. So I just connected both of these. Now I'm setting up the second one. It asked me for where is the location going to be or the camera name. So I'm just going to do a generic camera name so I can keep track of these. But I've got Nader Tater 1 and Nader Tater 2. So I'll have to try to figure out how to keep track of which one's which. And so it takes a few minutes for it to initialize and get set up here. But then it's going to go through and it's going to tell you some installation information. Basically, 7 to 10 feet high is the best, and have them pointed down at a slight angle so that basically the camera is looking towards the ground. That's the way it's really set up for all the artificial intelligence, as well as to help with the solar panels. Now, obviously, you do want the solar panels to get sun exposure for at least a couple hours a day for them to stay fully charged. So you don't want to put them up inside a porch or underneath an overhang or whatnot if you plan on not having to charge the batteries. Alright, so you can use the included USB cable to plug directly into the home base, and it will charge these. Now the home base has the 2 amp output for the 5-volt USB to charge that, but you could use any other compatible 5-volt 2 amp wall charger for USB to charge them up. It does take 8 or 9 hours. But if we go in here to the app, let's look at the settings here for the home base and these cameras. Now the home base can take up to 16 cameras and link them all together and coordinate them. Here you can see on the left I have the 2 cameras, and you can see there's the face management. Now they call this the bionic mind artificial intelligence, which is all locally processed, so it doesn't have to rely on the cloud for it to work, which is really nice. Which means even if you lost internet, the artificial intelligence would still be working here. And now you can manage your faces. If it has strangers picked up, it will show them as strangers, and you could either you could name them and associate them, or you could leave them as a stranger, and that does or can change your settings later as far as what actions it takes, if it's a familiar face or unfamiliar face. So you can add them with a picture upload, or like I did, you can actually take a picture with your phone, and that will work as well. So let's look here at the AI empowerment. You can see that for the car and the pet, that's in beta testing, so they're obviously working on that. But the human and the face detection is quote unquote fully vetted, and then you can obviously tell which ones of your cameras you want it to have that artificial intelligence, which I'm not sure why you would not have it on personally, so I have it selected for both of these cameras. Alright, and then down here you can see, now I did have to format the hard drive. It gave me an error that it wasn't formatted, which I'm sure was true. It's a brand new hard drive. So I did click format, and then now this hard drive shows up as available storage here. And then here's a video archive that you could see any archived data. Now it says no external USB storage, which is kind of interesting. I guess I didn't read that part, but it looks like it does support a USB storage device as well if you did not want to buy a internal hard drive. So that maybe is a good option for people as well. So lastly, I go up here to the settings, and you can see again it confirms what cameras it's on. You can see for audio that home base is your alarm siren, or at least it can be one of your alarm sirens, so you can adjust that threshold as well as what the alarm sound it is. And then there's also voice prompts that I hear, like when you lost internet connection or something, I hear it talking, saying something's there, and it can notify you if it detects motion, actually, I think, out there as well. Alright, so then for the notifications, here's where you can get a push notification based off these different things. These are something that you want to look for your own preferences as far as which ones you have. And then in general, it just shows you the serial number, the firmware, that kind of stuff about your home base. So that is the settings for the home base. Let's go into the cameras real fast and just see what type of settings they have. Alright, so on the top left, there's actually a couple kind of useful things here. One, it shows you the sunshine, so it's telling you if it's getting any sun. You see the battery life indicator, and then you see the Wi-Fi signal quality that it's getting. Alright, and then for the motion detection, you can turn it on and off at the top. You can set the activity zones. So here for the activity zones, I can add new ones, and it gives you this little hexagon, and you can go in there and you can expand that more or less depending on what you want. You can have up to 3 of them, I think, and they can overlap or not overlap, and that's how you can set up those. I'm going to just delete these because I don't want to have any. I want to have the full frame be recognized for motion. And then next you have detection sensitivity, so you can go all the way from low to high based off your needs. And then as far as what type of motion you want to detect. So this is kind of neat that you could say if you only wanted vehicle or only human or only pet for that matter, then you could have that. I'm going to have everything in there, including all other motion, and that's because I like to record even things like wildlife out there, which it might not detect as a pet or a human unless I have a Bigfoot walking by. He might set off both of those triggers. Alright, and then the bottom there is a motion test mode. So this is something you can click on, and then you can go, have your dog run out there, or you can have a person go across the sidewalk or whatever, and it will tell you if that tripped the motion or not. So that's a way to test it if you have your settings correct. Alright, and then next we have Power Manager. So by default it goes to optimal battery life. I can click it over to optimal surveillance, and that's going to give me better surveillance, recording longer recordings, shorter delays between when it will redetect the motion, that kind of stuff. But then you can also customize that to your own needs if you want. And then power sources, just confirm this on battery. And if you had solar set up on here, it will show you graphs of how much solar power it's getting over time and how efficient it's being. Okay, and then here in the spotlight settings, so these do have a spotlight on them, so it can light up outside if you wanted to, and you can change those settings there. Then you have anti-theft. That's just a toggle on off. If you set that up, I think an alarm goes off if the device is moved. I'm obviously going to move them pretty soon, so I'm not going to change that. And then in the video settings, you can change if there's a watermark, both for timestamp and the logo. That's the little Eufy logo that's on there. Streaming quality does auto by default, and that just means that when you're streaming it to your mobile device or your computer, for that matter, for looking at it, then it will adjust it based off your connection speed. The recording quality is obviously what actually gets recorded, like on the hard drive. So I'm leaving it like this, auto for the streaming, but then recording is forced to be 4K. Night vision, you can have it as black and white, you can have it as color, or you can turn off the lights altogether, so it's just natural ambient light. And then lastly, you have privacy zones. So these privacy zones are something that is blacked out and not recorded. So this might be good if you have a neighbor that maybe you're looking towards their house, or you're looking over their fence or something, and you want to just black that area out so that it does not get recorded or looked at for the motion. So that's a nice little feature to have there. Alright, and then next we have the sound settings. So these have two-way talk, so they have a microphone and a speaker, and you can adjust if those are on and how loud the speakers are. Alright, and then notifications, you can change how you get these. This most efficient default setting is just a push notification that, hey, someone was spotted. Full effect would give you that, hey, someone is spotted, and then a few seconds later it would give you a thumbnail of that image that was spotted. And then lastly is include thumbnail, means that you're just delaying all of the alert until it gets the thumbnail and processes that and sends it off to you. So it might be a short delay versus going to most efficient. So I personally like full effect, kind of the best of both worlds in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. The general just tells you your serial number, firmware, that kind of stuff about your camera. But this is how it's set up. So now I'm really interested to get this outside, get them installed, and see some testing out there. Alright, so now I've had those cameras out there for about 11 days now working, and I have them alongside some of my Ring products and other cameras out there so I can kind of compare and contrast. And in the app itself, I've noticed a few things that I do really like about the Eufy stuff, and that's when it detects a person or an object like a car or a animal. When it does the thumbnail, it zooms in on that object for you much closer than the Ring one does. Like the Ring one, I'll throw up the screenshots here beside me. The Ring one gives you the overall picture, and it can be hard sometimes to tell what you're looking at, especially if you're on your phone. But the Eufy one zooms in and shows you a close-up of what it's doing. So I thought that was pretty neat that it does that, and it does do a good job there of detecting stuff. And I've even had it detect my face while I'm riding on my lawnmower, cutting the grass, which I was a little bit surprised by, but I thought that was pretty neat. Now that said, it doesn't always get me. Obviously, if I'm walking away from the camera and it can't see my face or it only sees the side profile, then it's less likely to detect you. It obviously needs a face seen in order to do that. And then if you do get a recording, a event or whatnot, and you click on it and you go to the page where you can play the video in the app, it actually shows you little icons down below of each object that it automatically detected, be it a pet, a human, a car, or whatnot. And so what's neat about that is, like, for some of the videos, I think I have one that has multiple. It basically has all the adults it picked out, and it picked out our dog. It did not pick out the kids there, which are obviously smaller, but it's neat because it showed them all lined up down at the base of it, so I knew exactly before even playing the video what was going to be in there. So I think that's some neat stuff that it does. I think that's a really powerful tool, that artificial intelligence. And again, that stuff is all done locally on that home base. So what's cool about that is that means your other cameras automatically gain that feature if they're obviously the Eufy cams that are connected to that home base. So that's pretty neat. Alright, so of those two cameras I put out there, one of them is in pretty good sunlight location every day, and I actually have another, I had a Ring product out there that would stay charged indefinitely. And then the other space is one that does not get a lot of sun. It has is shaded by a big tree for much of the day. But even on that one, it's shown me that it is basically staying even. We've had a consistent cloudiness and raininess really the past like 4 or 5 days here, but it's been able to maintain a steady charge during that, and it is getting some solar charging during there. So it really does look like to me in this scenario for me, I will not have to charge these cameras at all. They will be able to stay charged, and if I have a bout of cloudy weather, or if I go through a few months of low solar because of winter, then it'll be able to recover that in the summertime. So that's pretty neat that I won't have to have any batteries for it. Alright, I will show a couple events here of video, and one of them is at nighttime, so it gives you an idea of how good the camera does in lower light. Now I do have porch lights that stay on, so there's that one source of light, but then obviously the camera itself has a spotlight that it can turn on. But I'll say I was very happy. I mean, even looking way far down the driveway where there is no light other than the natural moonlight that's out there, you can see it. So it has good, low light quality in there as well. So alright, so the only thing I do want to point out for this, the one downside I would say, now some people would say it's an upside, but the system is self-contained from a wireless connectivity standpoint, meaning it does not use your home's Wi-Fi to connect the camera to the home base. And their other setup does do that. So what that means is that, for me, I have to pay attention to where I put the home base in order to make sure that the cameras pick up the Wi-Fi signal from that home base. And for most people, that's actually probably a benefit because it means that you don't need to have your own home Wi-Fi have good coverage wherever your camera goes put up. They'll use this home base to produce that for them. But for me here, I actually have a really big Wi-Fi network where I have 6 different routers, and so it goes across 4 different buildings. So for my other cameras, I'm able to put them anywhere on those buildings and be able to connect back to the main house, regardless if it's in the basement where you would typically get poor Wi-Fi signal or somewhere else. So that's one thing I'll note that I didn't quite know at first, and then I found that out by doing some testing. So I really do like the Eufy products, and I like all their support that they give to the consumers, as well as all the options they give. It's basically a user-friendly, customizable option, which it seems to be hard to find. You can either get the fully customizable ones that are complex, you have to set them up yourself, or you can get the easy button ones that give you no real option to customize things yourself or do local storage and that kind of stuff. So this is a really nice balance. Alright, the other neat trick that the Eufy stuff does is it can tie into your other smart home products like Google. And this here is a Google display that I have down here, and I can tell it to play any one of these Eufy video feeds live. So watch this. Show me the Nader Tater 2 camera.
Okay, streaming Nader Tater 2.
So just like that, that is now a live feed of looking out at one of these cameras. And it will stay out there. It does time out. I think it's about 10 minutes, and it will turn off if I don't stop it from doing that. But that's a really cool thing that will allow you to connect some of this stuff into your home, your smart home integration, which I really like. And they also have the web-based version that you can go in there and you can watch live anywhere you have a home or you have a internet connection. And then they have the app as well, obviously. So lots of different ways to connect, use it, and watch it. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any questions, please put them down below in the comments section. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing to my channel to see more stuff. So thanks and take care.